We are back, personality class, talking about Sigmund Freud. Last we left off, we were in the midst of talking about the psychosexual stages of personality development by Sigmund Freud, not by me. Let it be known, I'm not the one saying this. I'm the messenger. So please refrain your accusations of misogyny, sexism, etc. I'm doing my best. So here we go. We were talking about the phallic stage, the third of 5 stages. Remember, who were Freud's ultimate villains? Of all people, little girls. Oral, anal, phallic, latent, genital. So we're on the phallic stage, 3 to 5 years of age, where children are discovering their penises. And why are little girls the worst people? Because they're so angry that they're going to do whatever they want, whatever they can, to get a penis. Because they're jaded, they don't have one. This is where the Electra complex comes in, because you know whose penis they want more than anyone else's? Their fathers, yes. According to Freud, all little girls want to have sex with their father, but they can't have sex with their father. You know why? Because someone's stopping them. Who's stopping the little girl from having sex with her father? Why, the mother. So they want to murder their mother. This is the Electra complex, the phenomenon, according to Freud, where females want to have sex with their father and murder their mother. That's why they're so angry. They want to chop off their father's penis and keep it to themselves so they have one forever. So this is also the parallel to the Oedipus complex. Probably more popular and more heard of is the Oedipus complex, which applies to men. Because all men want to have sex with their mothers and murder their fathers. Why do they want to murder their fathers? Because the father is getting in the way of having sex with the mom. Again. Now, here's where Freud's love of mythology comes into play. Because the Oedipus complex is named after Oedipus. And you may know, and I hope you know, Sophocles' great play, Oedipus Rex. There's the whole Oedipus trilogy. So there's like Antigone, etc. But Oedipus, classic story of a hero that ends up marrying his mother and killing his father, hence he named it after him. If you don't know the story of Oedipus, oh my goodness. You know what I'm going to have to do? Is I'll have to find a great YouTube video to explain it, and I'll put a link to it in the comment section below, because it is the most famous story of all time, not just by my opinion, by many other people's opinions. Here's Freud talking about it. It's the best example of dramatic irony. Listen to me, I'm rambling about it. And Electra is another story. This is the story of Agamemnon's daughter. So Agamemnon was one of the generals in the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey, the fight of the Trojan Wars. I'm sorry, the Iliad. Both, basically. So Homer's Iliad, and there's the Trojan War going on, and eventually Agamemnon comes back home. And why am I telling this story? Anyways, his wife kills him, and Electra's mad and plots to kill her mother because she loved her father. Anyway, this all to explain, this is the phallic stage. And this is basically where everyone tries to either swing their penis around or does their best to try to get a penis. So this is where masculinity starts appearing in men and the femininity starts appearing in girls because they're trying to capture a penis. Now, this sounds pretty radical and pretty upsetting even by today's standards, but imagine hearing Freud describe this in the Victorian era. So even more impactful then, because people simply didn't talk about it. But does society let us have sex with our parents? Is that usually smiled upon? No. That's why the next stage comes into play. What's the next stage? This is the latent stage, right? The latency stage is the hidden period, the latency period, where sexuality is repressed because you realize that your sexuality is going to get you in trouble. So all of this libido is then refocused into same-sex friends and hobbies and schoolwork, etc. This is where boys say, hey, this is a boys' treehouse, girls forbidden, and girls say, oh, boys are gross, they have cooties, same-sex friendships. Can someone get fixated in the latency period? Well, many people argue, yes, you can be. This could be symptoms of asexuality, perhaps, according to Sigmund Freud. Some people suggest, is this evidence of homosexuality? Well, the debate is that more of a focus in the phallic stage or the latency stage? But regardless, what you're talking about is an intuitive theory. This is Sigmund Freud. We have researched a lot of what his theories talk about today, but he did not. So a lot of this is just, again, Sigmund Freud talking. But can you repress that sexuality forever? No, you can't keep sexuality down. It just keeps on coming up. And that's where it reemerges in puberty, in adolescence, bringing us to our final stage, of all people, little girls, oral, anal, phallic, latent, genital. The genital stage in adolescence. So you kind of Tai Chi things. Now, instead of just being sexually attracted to one parent, you're now attracted to all members of that parent's sex, according to Freud. So instead of girls wanting to have sex with their father, now they just want to have sex with men. Instead of men wanting to have sex with their mother, now they just displace all of this onto wanting to have sex with women. So sexual feelings reemerge or are oriented towards others, and you can only reach this stage if you aren't fixated in earlier stages. And according to Freud, and here's one of his famous ideas, how do you know that you have a healthy adult? Because they find pleasure in love and in work. They can have healthy relationships, and they're productive individuals. They're not lazy, they have friends, etc. So this is the final stage of Sigmund Freud's psychosexual stages of personality development. As you went through these, did you ask yourself, do I seem like I'm fixated in any of these? Do I have a really biting wit and feel the need to really attack someone? Well, that may be an oral fixation. Does everything have to be perfect and you're a neat freak? Well, that may be anal retentiveness. You may be fixated in the anal stage. Do you feel the need to prove your masculinity? I'm a man. Look how strong I am. I've got such a big penis. Blah. Well, then you may be fixated in the phallic stage or maybe overly seductive. So you don't have to, but typically people ask themselves, what kind of stage might I be fixated in? Well, we have questions of human nature, which I'm going to fly through Freud's theory. Basically, is his theory really optimistic or is it really pessimistic? Do people have control over their lives or are they kind of slaves to their instincts or whatever? Well, it's pretty well understood, and I'm just going to throw this up here and ramble about it really quickly, that Freud has a very pessimistic point of view, very pessimistic, in the idea that people are naturally kind of evil. All they want to do is have sex and murder people, right? And that doesn't give us a whole bunch of free will. We do have some free will in our choices, but it's much more deterministic because we're all going to go through these phases and they're already determined. Oral, anal, phallic, latent, genital, right? And basically, we're done developing our personality by the age of 5 at the end of the phallic stage. Like latency stage, we're done. All we're doing is figuring out ways to hide our personality after that. He did say there's a big mix of nature and nurture because nature, well, that's where the id comes in, right? We're all born with the id. Nurture, that's where the superego comes in, right? But who we are, is it determined by our past, or are we constantly changing and thriving? Well, Sigmund Freud is a hardcore advocate of the idea that we are objects of our past. He said that our personality is done developing at age 5. So he also kind of skirted the line, not just with nature and nurture, but with unique versus universal. Is everybody different or are we all the same? Well, it's a mix of the two because we're all snowflakes, we're all very different, but at the core, we're also all the same sexual, angry beings. So these little axes you see right here, free will versus determinism, nature versus nurture, these are just kind of experiments you can do with every theorist that we'll be covering in this course. So Sigmund Freud, just to be clear, deterministic, balance between nature and nurture. He believes in historical determinism. It's a balance between unique individuals and universal individuals, but he's definitely very pessimistic. So let's bring this to a close, and we will talk about in class more about Freud's assessment techniques. Because remember, his assessment techniques were all about trying to get your unconscious revealed. He wanted you to know that you wanted to have sex with individuals. He wanted you to know that you have this impulse to murder. But knowing about it doesn't mean acting upon it. That is why Sigmund Freud felt justified in openly having a conversation with his daughter where they both admitted they wanted to have sex with each other. Did they have sex with each other? No. Well, not according to anyone. But they didn't have sex. So knowing is not the same thing as acting on it, right? Some of you may know you want to eat every single ho-ho Twinkie. Oh, damn it. Every single ho-ho Twinkie, every little sweet possible, but we don't. We refrain ourselves. So impulse doesn't mean that you're going to let the id run free. So what are these main assessment techniques? Here they are. I'm just going to blast them up here. Catharsis. This is like this free association thing in catharsis. Catharsis is simply just venting. Talk about what's bothering you. Because a lot of us hold it in, and that's not good according to Freud. I'll never forget this because I had a student say, Mr. Gerning, I remember catharsis because I have a girlfriend named Kathy, and she complains all the time. So I think that's kind of, mean, but easy to remember. Kathy complains all the time. Kathy-arsis, catharsis. Resistance is a technique that we'll have to talk about in class. It's pretty amazing. We talked about it in introductory psychology. We already mentioned hypnosis in these tools because if you're in a hypnotic state, your unconscious is supposedly revealed more. Free association is just diary of the mouth. Just keep talking. Don't stop, because anytime you stop, it means you're thinking about what to say next. Just keep on going. And then he also talked about dream analysis. We'll continue these in class and in your textbook if you want. And then again, if you're just some YouTube fanatic and you're stumbling upon these, leave some comments if you want below. And if I have the time or inkling, I'll answer questions. Same thing for my students. You can leave comments below. All right. Thanks so much. And hey, I look forward to seeing all of you in person. Yeah. Thanks for the good time. Bye. What is happening?